What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the stream. Appreciate all you guys being here once again. Pretty interesting 6-game slate we got tonight. A lot to break down now that Kyrie is out. This was kind of big news that was maybe expected, maybe not. Kyrie's been dealing with injuries all season, so they're deciding to sit him out on the back-to-back with, I think, some kind of knee injury. It's going to make Harden a really, really good play, man. Going to be tough to get away from Harden now. I really like Jokic on this slate, but I think now Harden's going to be the guy that I want to get in over Jokic. If I can find a way to fit both, I think I want to try and play both Harden and Jokic on this slate. But yeah, Kyrie being out, that's big news. Harden's obviously the biggest beneficiary there, but there's some value too to target from Brooklyn. A lot of the guys we would target for value have kind of been priced up, mainly like Bruce Brown. Like Bruce Brown's 4,600, which is it's not that cheap, but if he gets over 30 minutes without Kyrie, without KD, he definitely has a path to pay off this price tag. So I still do have interest in Bruce Brown. There is some maybe like TLC for value. Maybe Tyler Johnson picks up a few more minutes. He played, I believe, like 23 minutes last night. I don't know. Like on Brooklyn, I think it's going to be Harden that I feel most confident in. And I think like the secondary guys like Joe Harris, Jeff Green, Bruce Brown, they all become viable now. But Harden's the clear top play from Brooklyn today. And there's some other value from other teams. Now that Daniel Tice is out, that gives us some value with a guy like Tristan Thompson, who I do like quite a bit now. But yeah, excited to break down the slate with you guys, answer all your questions. Hope you guys had a good night last night. Last night's slate was, God, it was crazy. You needed like over 300 to cash last night. Like all the chalk smashed last night. Basically everyone who was popular went nuclear. My DK lineup finished with like 358 point something, I don't know, and I like tripled up. Like normally 358 you'd be taken down every tournament, and I tripled up with 358 on DK. Crazy night. Sup Noah, Bruce Brown for Yahoo minimum salary. Yeah, Bruce he looks a lot better on Yahoo because he's minimum salary over there. I still like him on Draftkings. It's just he's been priced up on DK. If Bruce Brown was like 3,500 today, he'd be the best value on the slate. But given that he's 4,600. Still in play, but not like a top option. But yeah, on Yahoo, Bruce Brown's, $10, so really, really good value over there. I love Thompson at 3.9K. Yeah, Thompson, I'd assume he starts and probably plays around 30 minutes as long as he can stay out of foul trouble. They're going to need him out there against Jokic, so I feel pretty good about Tristan Thompson. I wish he was power forward eligible. It sucks you have to use your center spot on him, but he's definitely one of the better values right now. We still don't know yet if Monte Morris is playing, so if Monte Morris winds up out, we can maybe get some value from Denver with like a RJ Hampton or Compazio could be a value, depending on who starts. Thanks for everything, Brody. Who are your main interests in the Bucks-Raptors game? I mean, on the Bucks side, it's really just Giannis and Middleton for me. On the Raptors side, I think the big three from the Raptors are all viable, but nobody from that game really stands out as like a top option. I think Giannis would be the guy I'd get to first if I was targeting anyone in the Raptors-Bucks game. I think there's just, I'd rather play Harden, I'd rather play Jokic over Giannis on this slate. Any interest in Kaminsky? Not really. Like, his minutes haven't really been there. I know he's been starting recently, but the minutes just haven't been there, so I don't have that much interest in him. Had 347 and tripled up as well. Yeah, last night's slate was just super, super high scoring. Like I said, all the chalk smashed last night, so, whenever that happens, it's going to be a high scoring slate. What stud is the most fadeable? I mean, probably LeBron, I think. If out of all the guys, Karl Anthony Towns, if you consider him a stud, I probably wouldn't get to Towns on this slate. But, yeah, I think Harden, Jokic are the guys I want to start with. I like Giannis as well. I think Dame's too cheap. But LeBron, he's okay, but I'm not in love with LeBron. Towns is fine, but I don't really like him either. So probably those two guys, I think, are the two I'd get away from first. What's the plan with Kyrie out? I think, Harden's the best play on the slate right now, and Bruce Brown's a value that you can't consider. I like Bruce Brown on Yahoo a lot because he's still really, really cheap over there. It's tougher to get to Bruce Brown, though, on DK, where he's almost 5K. I think doing two lines with a combo of Harden, Brown, and Booker Van Vliet is a good idea. I really like Ayton at center. DeAndre Jordan is going to get pummeled. Yeah, I like this matchup for Ayton as well. I mean, we saw what Whiteside did to the Nets last night. Like, the Nets just, for like the last 4 or 5 years, have just always been a team that's just really struggled against centers. Like, you always see guys have big games, or centers have big games against the Nets. Yeah, I think this is definitely a good spot for DeAndre Ayton. I do like him quite a bit. And I think DeAndre Jordan's probably going to move back into the starting lineup to defend Ayton. So if DeAndre Jordan winds up starting, he's another value worth considering at center. Can you predict Jokic's stats for today versus Boston? I mean, hell, I wish I could. I mean, I would think he's going to do pretty well. The offense is going to run through Jokic. I mean, they're so short-handed right now. Like, this is definitely another day where Jokic could put up a triple-double, and I wouldn't be surprised. I think they will double Harden and shut him down. I mean, I'll be honest, Howard, like, even if they do double him, he's still probably going to get a ton of assists. He's going to get a ton of rebounds. He's been, the peripherals have been through the roof for Harden lately. I mean, I don't want to say he's going to triple-double again, but it feels likely that Harden probably triple-doubles again. I mean, he's just going to have the ball in his hands a ton. He's going to be out there grabbing boards. Harden's one of those guys that, when a shot goes up, he's running to the basket. He's trying to grab rebounds. Like, Harden, he stuffs the stat sheet, and that's what we want in DFS. Thoughts on Robert Williams? Yeah, I do like Robert Williams now. I don't know how many minutes he gets. I would assume that we probably get like 30 minutes from Tristan Thompson and probably like 18 from Williams, and they just split the center minutes. But maybe they run some small ball lineups. Maybe they play like Semi Ojeleye at the 5 a little bit whenever Jokic is not on the floor. Robert Williams is one of those guys. He's kind of like JaVale McGee was last night. You don't really know how many minutes he's going to play, but if he does get close to 20 minutes, I mean, he can smash at his salary. If you want to take a shot on him in GPPs, he's definitely in play for me. Obviously, like in cash games, though, I think you're looking at Tristan Thompson for sure. Lost 300 last night because of Oubre. Did nothing with a good game to smash. Damn. I had some interest in Oubre last night. I didn't want to play him, but yeah, I did have interest in Oubre. If I took Jokic and Harden, how do I build around that? Yeah, it's a little bit tough. I mean, I haven't started building on DK. If you play Jokic and Harden, you're going to need value. So, like Tristan Thompson's 3,900. I like him as a value. If Jared Vanderbilt starts again, he's 4K. I like him as a value. If Monte Morris winds up out, we could get some value from Denver, from their guards, whether it's Compazio or Hampton. So you can definitely make it work, I think, for sure. Williams or Thompson? I mean, I prefer Thompson. I assume Thompson's going to start, so he's going to be the guy I prefer there. Any love for Vanderbilt? Yeah, if Vanderbilt starts again, I think at 4K, he's a decent value play. I don't know how many minutes he's going to get, but he's pretty productive when he's on the floor, so I do like him quite a bit. You like Joker better than Cantor with Thompson? You like Joker better than Cantor with Thompson? I don't know what you're asking there. You like, so Cantor and Thompson or Jokic? I mean, if I was playing, like if I'm forced to play two centers today, my two centers are probably going to be Jokic and Thompson, I'd assume. I mean, I haven't started building out my lineups yet, but I really like Jokic, and I think Thompson's one of the better values right now. Ayton will still find a way to disappoint. Yeah, I feel you, man. It seems like whenever Ayton's in a great spot, he still just doesn't get there. He's been bad lately, but this is definitely one of those matchups where Ayton should be able to put up, like a big double-double, like 20 and 10 type game, or 20 and 15. Is Booker and or Paul going to smash tonight? I mean, it's a really good matchup. It's tough to predict which one of Booker or Paul's going to have the big game. Lately, Booker's been playing really well. The matchup's really good. I definitely have interest in them in tournaments. I don't think I'd get to either one of Booker or Paul like in cash, but in tournaments, I think they're viable. Will Tyler Johnson get enough minutes? I mean, last night he played over 20. They ran a 9-man rotation last night, and that was with Kyrie playing 30 minutes. So now that you take Kyrie out of the equation, I don't know if we're going to get is Chris Giozzi even still on the team? Like, I know he hasn't been playing lately. He expects, so I guess he is with the team. I don't know if he's in the G League or not. Maybe you guys can confirm that for me. Like, maybe Chris Giozzi gets some minutes if he's with the team, but I really don't know. Last night they played 9 guys, and that was with Kyrie, so maybe they only run 8 guys today. I really don't know. But yeah, I think Tyler Johnson does get probably around 20, 22 minutes, most likely. MPJ is the highest owned guy on the slate. Are you serious? I mean, I did not expect that. I mean, if he's the highest owned player on the slate, I would probably not be playing him at almost 6K. I mean, there's other guys I'd rather get to. I like MPJ tonight, but I don't think he's not going to be the highest owned player on the slate. Not on Draftkings. Maybe on I don't know what his FanDuel price is, but on DK, I'm very confident that MPJ will not be the highest owned player on the slate. Just curious here, Jokic or Giannis on Yahoo for the payout. They're both $55. Give me Jokic over Giannis tonight. Hampton or Compazio, who's the first one off the bench? I mean, I think last game it was Hampton, if I'm not mistaken. He was the first guy off the bench. If Monte Morris winds up out, I assume one of those two guys will start. It'll probably be Hampton, but I don't really know. But let me check who was the first guy off the bench last game. They played against the Lakers Sunday. It was a blowout, but those guys still got good minutes. Hampton played 20 minutes, and Compazio played 25. Let me see who subbed in first. So let's see. Okay, so at 5:30 in the first quarter, 5 minutes, 30 seconds left in the first quarter, R.J. Hampton subbed in for Jamal Murray. So he was the first sub. And then Compazio subbed in for Monte Morris. But yeah, I think Hampton was the first guy in off the bench, if I'm not mistaken, if I read that correctly. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, I think if Monte Morris plays, Hampton and Compazio are still viable. I wouldn't really have that much interest in them. But yeah, if Monte Morris is out, I think they're both in play. And whichever one starts, I'm going to like more. Hey, man, good afternoon. Hey, good afternoon to you, Damien. Appreciate you being here, man. What do you think about Justin Jackson on Yahoo for $12? I think if you're paying down a small forward, he looks like one of the better values at the position. And small forwards, it looks like a position I do want to try and pay down at, especially if I'm trying to pay up for Jokic and Harden. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to pay up for LeBron, too. So I'm going to have to go cheap at small forward, I think, or go to the mid-range. Who are your favorite cheap OKC guys? Are you not looking there? I mean, I still have interest in some of them. You know, on Yahoo, they're still pretty cheap. Like, Justin Jackson's $12. Kendrick Williams is $17. Draftkings, a lot of them have been priced up a good amount, but I still do have interest in Williams and Jackson on DK. Jackson's $4,700. Williams is like $5,300. I still think both of them are viable. But I wouldn't say they're like top value plays because, you know, there is other value that's opened up now. Like, I'm going to prefer Tristan Thompson over, you know, Justin Jackson now, I think. You think Porter Jr. is a good play today? I think he is. Somebody commented and said he was going to be the highest owned player on the slate. So if that's the case, I probably wouldn't be playing him in my one lineup. But I don't think Porter's going to be he's going to be popular, but not the highest owned player on the slate. I still do like Michael Porter, though. Like, Denver's just so thin right now. I mean, Jokic and Murray should dominate the usage, but Porter should have the opportunity to contribute too. You prefer to play guards, forwards over centers in your utility spot? Greg, I'll be honest, it doesn't. Position, it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to play the best plays. I don't care what position they come from. So if I play Tristan Thompson in the util, it's because I'm playing him because I think he's a good play. It's not because he's a center. Like, it doesn't really matter. In cash, Horford or Canner? Probably go Canner there. Rank your interest on the Thunder. I mean, probably Justin Jackson, Kendrick Williams are the two guys I like most. I mean, none of them, I don't think any of them are like smash plays. It's not like none of them, like, they're not cheap anymore. Like, if Justin Jackson was like $3,500, he'd be a really good value, but he's $4,700. I don't think, it's not like I'm starting my lineup with the Thunder guys, but Jackson, Williams, Horford, and Bazley, I think those are like the four that are viable for me. I probably won't be playing anyone else, though. Miami Mike with the $10 super chat says broccoli soup and iced tea on me. I appreciate that, Miami Mike. Thank you again, man, for the super chat. You've donated a lot to the channel, and I do appreciate it, brother. Thank you, Miami Mike. Might have to get some broccoli cheddar soup tonight just because of you. I appreciate that, brother. I went to McAllister's, got their broccoli cheddar soup, and honestly, it might be better than Panera. It was pretty damn good. I like Panera's broccoli cheddar soup, but McAllister's, their soup's pretty good too. Is there enough value to load up Giannis, Jokic, and LeBron? I mean, probably not. I think you're probably going to have to just play two of those three studs. I don't know if you're going to be able to get three in. Unless Monte Morris winds up out, then you might be able to do it because we'll get more value. If I had to choose one, who would it be between Paul or Ayton in the flex? I mean, probably Chris Paul. So, Noah, sorry if you answered this already, but Harden or Giannis, if you had to play one, it's going to be Harden for me now that Kyrie's out. Any interest in Kyra Lewis at 3,300 as a value? Minutes have gone up lately. Nice pace up spot versus Grizzlies. I haven't even been I know he's like the backup point guard for the Pelicans, but I haven't even looked at Kyra Lewis. I mean, he got 17 minutes. Like, I don't think we want to go to him on this slate. I feel like you're just kind of getting too cute there. Give me the Denver guys like Compazio or Hampton. Give me those guys over Lewis. For price versus return, Jamal Murray or Lillard, I think when you factor in price, give me Jamal Murray. Especially on Yahoo. I really like Jamal Murray on Yahoo. He's way too cheap over there. Andre Robertson's available for the Nets. Yeah, I saw that. I don't know how many minutes he's going to play. He's not even in the player pool, I don't think. Yeah, he's not even in the player pool. But, yeah, he might get some minutes. I don't know how many. I can't even remember the last time Andre Robertson actually played in a game. I remember rostering that dude like 4 or 5 years ago in DFS, man. Like, just roster him and just praying that he would hit like a couple threes. I mean, rostering Andre Robertson was the absolute worst. It's like rostering PJ Tucker. You just have to pray he knocks down a couple threes and gets like 3 or 4 steals. And he would do that sometimes, and he'd put up those decent games. He was always, minimum salary, though. He was always so cheap when he was with the Thunder. Grayson Allen, a good play tonight. I mean, it depends what their starting lineup is. Now that Brandon Clark is back, if he winds up starting and they move Grayson Allen back to the bench, I'm not that interested in Allen, but if Allen stays in the starting lineup, I think he's in play. Murray or Van Vliet, honestly, give me Murray, especially because of the price. He's a lot cheaper. You think Pritchard gets 20 fantasy points tonight? I'm not really on Pritchard. I liked Pritchard, a couple of slates ago when Kemba was out, but yeah, I don't have much interest in him today. JaMychal Green tonight, yeah, I do like JaMychal Green as a value. Without Paul Millsap, without Will Barton, I am assuming that Green starts. Probably gets around 30 minutes as long as he's not in foul trouble, so he's a decent value play for sure. He was in foul trouble last game, which really hurt him, but should be good to play around 30 minutes tonight as long as he's not in foul trouble. I'm going Lillard, Booker, Schroeder, Justin Jackson, Kuzma, JaMychal Green, Jokic, Tristan Thompson. I mean, that looks solid for now. I mean, I probably want Harden in, but that's up to you. That's up to your lineup. If I was playing one lineup on Yahoo, though, I'd want Harden, 100%. When deciding on playing a player, do you factor the time of the game to give you more flexibility to swap later? For example, last night, people who swapped to Ben Simmons did really well. Yeah, JP, it depends on if there's news. Like last night, there was news we were waiting on with the late games. Like Taurean Prince was questionable. Embiid was questionable. Some of the Kings guys were questionable. Like there was a lot of news we were waiting on. So it made sense to, have some flexibility. So that way, if guys got ruled out, you could make some changes. But normally I don't, purposely put a guy in the late game unless there's, like if we get word that somebody's questionable in the late game and, I want to have a spot open so I can swap and make changes, that makes sense. But normally I'm not just throwing a guy in the late game just to have him there. Like the time that people play doesn't really matter. But it does make sense to leave spots open when there's news that you are waiting on, which was the case last night. How do you feel about Kuzma tonight? I mean, I like him on Yahoo. He's still really cheap over there. There's no shot I'm playing Kuzma on Draftkings. I mean, I'm not paying $7K for Kyle Kuzma. LeBron could be out tonight, and I probably wouldn't still pay $7K for Kyle Kuzma. Let's cash tonight. Is Jeff Green viable? I think he is for sure. I assume he starts. I assume their starting lineup will be Harden, Bruce Brown, Joe Harris, Jeff Green, and DeAndre Jordan. So, yeah, Jeff Green is definitely viable for sure. Kuzma or Baisley? I mean, between the two, I'd probably go with Kuzma, but it's close there. And he's small forward and power forward on Yahoo. I got $43. I mean, probably Kuzma I'd like a lot. He's 15. That leaves you 28, so you can maybe play. I don't know if there's any small forwards in that range you could play, like a Norman Powell or something. Thoughts on that Compazio guy? Yeah, it depends on if Monte Morris is out. I think Compazio is definitely in play. Either him or Hampton, I would assume, are going to start if Morris is out. Even if Morris plays, though, I think Compazio still probably gets like 22, 24 minutes off the bench. Since there's no Gary Harris, no Will Barton, no PJ Dozier, they're just really thin right now. Will you lock Jokic in cash? I mean, I haven't started building my lineups yet, but I would think I'd want Jokic tonight. But on DraftKings, I know one of my center spots is, if I was playing cash on DraftKings, one of my center spots would for sure have Tristan Thompson in it. So then it just depends, can I get Jokic in there too? Kendrick Williams or DeAndre Jordan? I'd probably go with Williams there. What do you think of Harden tonight? Should we spend the money on him with other value plays? I mean, Harden's the best player on the slate, I think. I'm not really going out on a limb there. If you don't know that, then you probably shouldn't be playing DFS. Harden, Compazio, Middleton, TLC, Boucher, Justin Jackson, Joe Harris, Ayton. How's it look so far? It looks pretty solid. Thanks for all you do. Hey, I appreciate that, Jeremy. I'm always here, man, trying to help. Appreciate you being here. Horford or Ayton? I mean, Horford's probably the safer option, but I do like this matchup for Ayton. I think if we're ever going to get a decent Ayton game, like this would be the night for him to finally put up like 40-plus DK points. Justin Jackson or Lou Dort? I mean, probably go with Justin Jackson there. Harold, Boucher, or Walker? Probably go with Kemba. Utility 5.3K and below. I mean, I think Jeff Green's like 5,200, so I'd probably take him there. Yeah, it would either be like Jeff Green or Kendrick Williams. Any team we loading up on? I mean, I don't want to say we're going to load up on the Nuggets, but if Monte Morris gets ruled out, I mean, there's going to be a lot of Nuggets that are in play. I mean, already I think there's like 4 of them that are viable, and there could be even more if Morris gets out. So I really do like the Nuggets quite a bit, and I think Brooklyn looks a lot more appealing now that Kyrie and KD are both out. Last night was rough. Everyone's lineups went off. Yeah, it was a crazy high-scoring slate last night. You may have answered this already. Who do you like most on the Thunder? I mean, I don't think anyone on the Thunder stands out as like a top play on this slate, but I think Justin Jackson, Williams, Baisley, Horford, those 4 are still viable for me. I still think all 4 of those guys are in play, but I probably won't be going to anyone else on OKC. Like, Diallo's been playing really well, but he came off the bench last game, so if he comes off the bench again, I don't think I want to pay nearly $7K for Diallo if he's coming off the bench. Any chance the Suns-Nets game doesn't stay competitive? I mean, I'm going to assume it's full go and it's going to be close. I mean, what's the spread right now? Phoenix is favored by 6.5. I mean, and it's not like that's that drastic of a number. If anything, we should be worried about like the Lakers blowing out Minnesota because that game has a 6.5 point spread too. I'm just going to assume every game stays close tonight. I'm not worried about blowouts. And if games blow out, then so be it. I've always said that. Thank you for always answering questions, making great content. Keep up the good work. I appreciate that, Brandon. Appreciate that, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Canner or Joval? Give me Joval. No EO, it's Campazzo. Oh, Campazzo, gotcha. There's some guys I don't know how to pronounce their names, and I just kind of do the best I can. Like Campazzo, I've never heard of him before until this year, so I didn't know how to pronounce his name. I just guessed at it. So Campazzo, gotcha. RJ Hampton or Campazzo, I mean, it depends. If Monte Morris is out, I'm going to prefer whichever one gets the start. I'd assume one of those 2 guys start if Morris is out. So whichever one starts, I'd prefer. If Morris plays, I think I'm probably going to prefer. Like, it's super close. I think they both probably play about the same amount of minutes. Hampton was the first guy off the bench last game, so I think I'd give the edge to him if Morris plays. Murray, Harden, Beasley, Jackson, Kuzma, JaMychal Green, Jokic, Thompson. That's pretty solid for now. Anthony Edwards or Trent at shooting guard. Probably would go with Anthony Edwards if I had to pick one. I'm not the biggest fans of either, but Edwards if I had to pick one. You guys have any idea why the line moves so much for Phoenix? Well, Kyrie's out now, AB. And Durant was already going to be out for this game. He's not going to play till their next one, I think. Damian Lillard, JaMychal Green, and Kendrick Williams, Jason Tatum, Ja Morant, Robert Williams. I mean, I think all those guys are viable tonight for sure. Ingram, Booker, Van Vliet, or Brown. Probably go with Booker there. Who's going to benefit the most with Tice out, Ojale, Thompson, or Time Lord? I think Thompson starts at center, so he's the guy I like most with Tice out. Both Giannis and Joker and DK Cash, I mean, you're going to want Harden and Cash for sure. Harden really have to be the best. Does Harden really have to be the best play on the slate? Suns are legit. Couldn't you see them double Harden and blow them out? Value from Nets, pay up elsewhere. I mean, you can do that, Joseph. I'm playing Harden. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you guys, you do what you want to do. It's your lineup. You can play whoever you want, but I'm playing Harden 100%. So, and if he busts, then so be it. I think with all these guys out, I mean, Harden, we're going to get the Harden that we got, last year whenever Westbrook would miss games. The year before, whenever Chris Paul be out, Harden would just go out there and put up like 70 every night. That's what we're going to get. That's the kind of numbers Harden should put up tonight. He's gonna probably triple-double. And I don't care. If they double him, he can still score. I mean, he's one of the best scorers in the game. Simon's a good value. Seems 4K maybe. I don't think I'm going to Anthony Simons on the slate. Just can't do it. So many other guys I'd rather target. Zeke Nahi for value. Yeah, I think he probably gets, around 20, 22 minutes. They barely played Isaiah Hartenstein last game, and Nahi was like the backup center whenever Jokic was off the floor. So if that's the case tonight, I mean, Nahi has the chance to play like 22, 24 minutes, and he's been pretty productive when he's on the floor. Like, he's another Denver guy that I think is viable in tournaments. All those bench guys, Hampton, Campazzo, Nahi, I think they're all in play for tournaments. Just because Denver is so thin, I mean, I could see there's a good chance they only run like an 8-man rotation tonight with those 3 guys plus their starters. Joker and Giannis, both $55 on Yahoo. Do you see Giannis being contrarian? I mean, I think Giannis might be a little contrarian on this slate because, T-Bone, if you look at the power forward position, you got really good value with Kuzma for 15. A lot of people are going to pay down for Kuzma. There's some other value, like JaMychal Green's minimum salary, you can pay down for him. Everyone's going to be paying up for Harden. Jokic looks like a really good play. I mean, I don't think Giannis is going to be insanely popular. Like last slate against OKC, he was like 20% owned. I played him that slate, and I got lucky that, he had a big game. But This is probably going to be another slate where Giannis is only like 15, 20% owned. I don't see him being like 50%. I don't think that's going to be the case. How you feel about Kemba tonight? He's all right. I mean, I don't really have that much interest in Kemba. I'd rather play Jamal Murray over Kemba if I can get him. So, yeah. Harden is a must like last night. I mean, yeah, Harden, he triple-double last night, put up a big game. Now there's no Kyrie. I mean, you'd expect big numbers from Harden once again, I would assume. Suns can triple Harden. He would still find a way to put up monster numbers. Yeah. Like, Harden's just such a good scorer, man. He can draw fouls. Like, when Harden's aggressive, I know, when he was with Houston, he just wasn't. It didn't seem like he really cared. He's obviously, got a different mindset now. He's just playing so well. Harden's still one of the best players in the league. And when he's the guy, when he's the number one guy, when he's got the ball in his hands, I mean, he can just go out there and just dominate. What's the best cash play on the Suns if you had to pick one? I mean, it'd probably be like Booker or Ayton. Probably Booker. I got to say I subscribed to Osmo and Rotogrinders 4, but subscribing to your Patreon has been the best thing I've ever done for my DFS game. Hey, I'm glad to hear that, JP. Hey, I'm glad the Patrons help. Fat, you answer questions, give your favorite picks on spot pretty much all night, especially when news breaks is crucial. You don't get that with any other service. Big ups. I appreciate that, JP. That's what the Patreon's for, man. I know, I do these streams in the afternoon, give you guys my updated thoughts, but obviously, up to lock, those last minute questions, those are really important. So that's what the Patreon's for. If you want to get, your last minute questions answered, we do that in Discord. I'm able to answer, all your questions. I'm basically from the time I get off the stream till lock, I'm answering questions on Patreon while trying to, get my lineups built. I got $13 I need a util. I mean, Steven Adams is $13 on Yahoo. He's pretty cheap. You could play him. Bruce Brown's minimum salary. Tristan Thompson's minimum salary. JaMychal Green's minimum salary. All three of those guys I think are in play on Yahoo. So be one of those, either one of those three minimum salary guys or Steven Adams. Brown, Middleton, Lowry, or Siakam. That's a tough one. I'd probably go like Siakam there, but it's close. My logic is that there are other studs with injury bumps, LeBron, Jokic, Dame, and they're in way better matchups than Harden. I mean, Joseph, Kyrie, and KD are both out tonight. Like, what? Did you forget about that? I mean, if anyone gets the biggest bump on the slate, it's Harden because Kyrie and Kevin Durant are both out. Yeah, LeBron gets a bump, AD's out, Jokic gets a bump because all these Denver guys are injured, Dame gets a bump because McCollum's out, and then Harden gets the biggest bump out of all of them. His usage with KD and Kyrie off the floor is like 32% or something. I mean, he's going to be a point per minute monster when he's out there. You going Jeff Green or JaMychal Green? I mean, probably JaMychal Green for the savings. Which stud has the highest ceiling tonight? Jokic, King James, Harden, or Greek Freak? I think it's Harden. If anybody could go out there and put up like 80 tonight, I think it'd be Harden. Sorry, no, it was in question. Damian Lillard, JaMychal Green, Kendrick Williams, or Tatum, Morant, and Robert Williams. Oh, I got you. So like a 3v3, Lillard, Green, Williams, Tatum, Morant, Williams. Probably go with the first one, Gabriel. Probably go with the first one there. What's your opinion on Horton Tucker? Yeah, I think he's another one of those guys, kind of like the Denver bench guys. Like, he's viable in tournaments. He's probably going to be somewhat low owned. He'll get probably 22, 24 minutes off the bench with no AD. He has a path to upside. We saw him get good run last game off the bench. He's still pretty cheap, so I do think he's in play on the slate. Walker, Brown, or Murray? Give me Jamal Murray, honestly. Thoughts on Joe Harris? Yeah, I think he benefits without Kyrie. Joe Harris is still a scoring-dependent player, but he should have the opportunity to get even more shots up tonight, so he's definitely in play. He'd probably be like towards the bottom of my list, though. Like, I think I'd probably rather play Harden, but I think I'd probably rather get to Bruce Brown. I think I'd rather play Jeff Green and DeAndre Jordan over Joe Harris, but yeah, Harris is definitely in play. Almost had a takedown and showdown. Cousins messed up the vibe. Yeah, Cousins, man, he was bad again last night. I can't remember how much he finished with, but he wasn't great. If players aren't knocking down shots, assists won't be there for Harden. I mean, yeah, that's always a possibility, but his potential assists are still through the roof. I mean, I feel like he gets like 20 or 25 potential assists like every game, if not more than that. I mean, I don't know. I know Harden's going to be real. I feel like there's always people that try and get too cute, man. Like they try and find a way to not play the best plays on the slate, and then when they go off, they're like, "Oh, why didn't I play him?" I mean, at the end of the day, guys, you do you, man. You do you. I'm just here to answer questions, give you my thoughts. You can do what you want, but I'm playing Harden. Full transparency, he's going to be in both my DK and Yahoo lineups. If you don't want to play him, don't play him. You don't have to. There's just no one else on Brooklyn that's going to do anything. If Brooklyn even keeps this game close, it's going to be because of Harden. It's not going to be because Bruce Brown has 30 points or Joe Harris knocks down 15 threes. It's going to be because Harden. I mean, I feel like you're probably trying to get too cute in the end, but hey, you do you. You like Morris from the Lakers? Markieff Morris? I mean, I just don't know how many minutes he gets. I assume Kuzma starts and plays probably over 30 minutes. I don't think I'm going to Markieff Morris on this slate. Scored 360 last night, took like 50th in my GPP pool. Yeah, I had my lineup on DK finished with like 358, and I tripled my money. Normally 358, you'd be taking down tournaments with that score. Last night was just all the chalk went off, so it is what it is. It was going to be a high-scoring slate last night. Pay up for Giannis or Joker in cash? Probably Joker. Even though, Thompson's for sure going to be in my cash lineup, I think, I tried want to get Jokic in there too. Your thoughts on Joker, Harden with Schroeder and Booker, but leaving out Ayton? Hey, I think that's fine. If you can get Joker and Harden together, that's probably the way I'd be starting my lineups tonight. Should I take Dort? I got $13 at U2. I mean, yeah, Dort's viable. You could play him there. I don't mind that. TLC or Vanderbilt? Give me Vanderbilt if he starts again. Cash, Harden, Murray, and Thompson to start with. I mean, definitely Harden and Thompson. Murray, I think, is viable as well. More so on Yahoo. I think on Yahoo, I would definitely have Harden or Murray in cash. But on Draftkings, it comes down to your roster construction. If he fits, I think he's totally fine to play. You typically target the contests that open up in the afternoon with less entries. Any idea when those open? Yeah, those are good. Those are good ones to target. So like whenever they'll put up early tournaments, especially like single entry tournaments, they'll put up their main tournament in the morning. Whenever those fill, they'll put out new ones that are smaller. Those are good to get into. Like the $40 single entry, it's normally like $50K in total prizes. It normally fills around like this time, and they'll probably throw out another one, another $40 single entry that's like maybe $10K in prizes, and it has a lot less people in it. I think your ROI playing in those is going to be better than playing in the bigger one. Shouldn't the fresh legs of the Phoenix Suns be the viable team since they are playing a depleted Brooklyn Nets team on the second half of back-to-back? I mean, yeah, there's guys that are viable from Phoenix, but I don't think it's not like I'm stacking Phoenix on this slate. I don't think. I'm late. How'd you do last night? I had a solid night. I finished with 358 on DK. My Yahoo lineup barely squeaked into the money. It was a pretty high scoring slate. I had like 330 on Yahoo. I can't remember what my final lineup was. Hold up. I had a chance to take down some stuff on DK, but Reggie Jackson fucked me over, man. I needed like 30 from Reggie Jackson, and he screwed me. Yeah, I had 331 on Yahoo, so I managed to squeak into some tournaments. And 358 on DK with Reggie Jackson in there. My lineup on DK was John Wall, Malcolm Brogdon, David Nwaba, Sabonis, Mo Wagner, Harden, Cedi Osman, and Reggie Jackson. That was my DK lineup, if I remember correctly. I think that was it. Can you play Joker and Harden together? Any good value? I mean, yeah, there's value for sure with Tristan Thompson starting at center. If Monte Morris gets ruled out, there'll be value from Denver. If I can, I want to try and find a way to get Joker and Harden together. I think those are the two best pay-up options on the slate right now. You like Boucher against Milwaukee? Such a point-per-minute monster, has been getting minutes. I mean, yeah, Boucher could always pop off any slate and put up 40-plus if he gets the minutes. But on this slate, there's just so many other studs, or so many other centers, I should say. Jokic, Ayton, Thompson as a value. Robert Williams is a punt value. There's just so many other centers I like, I think. I don't know if I can get to Boucher, especially if I'm only playing like one lineup. I doubt Boucher makes it there. Thanks for your help and your opinion. Me and my dad watch you, and you give really good advice. Hey, I appreciate that. That's cool that you and your dad both watch me. It's pretty cool. Kendrick Nunn screwed me over last night. Yeah, I saw he was in foul trouble, I think, which really hurt. Had 360, but still wasn't enough. I mean, yeah, if you had 360, you probably were able to steal cash. But yeah, if you wanted to take down something, I mean, most of the tournaments had there's guys with over 400 last night in tournaments. I mean, just so many guys went off last night, and so, a bunch of the chalk went off as well. Like freaking David Nwaba, when he was announced as a starter, he became pretty popular as a value play, and I played him. I got lucky. I played him, but he went for like 40-something DK points. I mean, I don't think anyone in their right mind expected 40-plus from David Nwaba. But sometimes, you play that chalky value that's starting, and sometimes it works, and he puts up, a big score like that. Are you high on Brooklyn value with KD and Kyrie out? I mean, I don't know if there's a ton of value right now. Like, a lot of the guys on DK have been priced up, but I think Bruce Brown, if he's cheap on other sites, like he's cheap on Yahoo, I really like Bruce Brown on Yahoo. Jeff Green, DeAndre Jordan, I think they're viable as well. I don't know about the bench guys, though, like Tyler Johnson, TLC. I don't know if I'm going to get to those guys on this slate. I think if you do, they're just kind of like GPP dart throws. You just hope they get more minutes than you expect them to. Highest I saw yesterday was 422. Yeah, I think in the big 100K to first tournament, the winning score was like 425 or something like that. It was insane. Damian Lillard's safe in cash. I mean, yeah, Lillard's cash viable, but I don't know if this is a slate where I'd be paying up for Lillard. I think you're going to want to get Harden in over Lillard. I'll always be grateful if I cash, but Fox killed me with the blowout last night. Could have done better. Yeah, I feel you there, man. I've had nights like that too. Those nights it's like, oh, what could have been? When you have like a really good lineup and then somebody in that lineup, like last night, I had Reggie Jackson. If I don't know who I could have played over Reggie Jackson, but if I played literally anyone else, I probably had a chance at some takedowns if I didn't play Reggie Jackson last night. Scored 371 in DK, $25 in the $4. Yeah. 371, normally 371, you'd win every tournament on the board. That's just how crazy last night was. TLC is in the starting lineup on RotoWire. I think last time, the one game where KD and Kyrie were both out, TLC did start, but I think tonight it'll be Bruce Brown. If I had to guess, it's going to be Bruce Brown starting, but I guess we'll see. Should have stuck with Simmons and Clarkson, Nwaba, but I switched it. Yeah. I was looking at some, once Embiid got ruled out, I was looking at builds. Like, I started messing with my lineups to see, like, if I could get Simmons and Harris in, but I just didn't really like my lineup when I put them in there, so I didn't play them. I probably would have had an even better night if I would have late swapped to Simmons and Harris, but it is what it is at the end of the day. If I would have done that, then I would have had to get off of Harden, and Harden still had a big game, so probably in the end, it all would have come out the same, I feel like. Forward for 4K, let's see. It would probably be Jared Vanderbilt. If Jared Vanderbilt starts, again, he's 4K. I'd like him a good amount if he's starting. Jaylen Brown or Kimba? Jaylen Brown if you have the salary. You like Tatum, bounce back game? Yeah, Tatum's always viable. I don't know if this is a slate where I'm going to be playing Tatum because I like Jokic so much. I like Harden so much. I don't think I'm going to have the salary to get Tatum in there. But yeah, without like Marcus Smart, it's just going to be Tatum, Kimba, and Brown like doing everything for Boston. Need a guard on DK under 4.2K. Let's see. It'd probably be one of the Denver guys. So Compazzo, 3,300. RJ Hampton's 3,400. Especially if Morris gets ruled out and one of those two guys starts, it'd be one of them. I'd play there. Can you play Vanderbilt even if he doesn't start? If he doesn't start, I'm not playing Vanderbilt. The minutes will just be too tough to predict if he's coming off the bench. Buy low on Eric Bledsoe. Hasn't been playing the best, but he's still getting the minutes. His price has come way down. I still don't really like Eric Bledsoe on this slate. I just think there's so many other guys I'd rather play. But, the price is really low on Bledsoe. You like Harding running it back with Booker? If you can make that work, for sure, go ahead. Definitely. Caldwell, Pope, or Hampton? I'd probably take Hampton, honestly. Horford, Lowry, and Walker are all too cheap. I don't want to say they're too cheap on this slate. Is Semi Ojeleye viable? I don't think I can play Semi Ojeleye. I know he's had some good games recently, and he's still cheap, I think. He's 3,300. He should continue to get the minutes, but last game we saw what Semi Ojeleye can do. 31 minutes, 6 fantasy points. I just don't think we should expect, the 34-point game against Toronto. That was just a huge outlier. Even the Detroit game, he had 2 steals, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. He's not normally a guy that really does much with peripherals. Semi Ojeleye, I don't want to say he's like PJ Tucker, but he's definitely one of those guys that can play 30 minutes and give you 10 fantasy points. I don't think I'm playing Semi Ojeleye on this slate. I haven't played him at all recently. I know he's been doing well, but I haven't been playing him, and I'm definitely not playing him tonight. What do you think about Shamet? I think, Landry Shamet is probably another one of those guys like Tyler Johnson. like TLC, the bench guys from Brooklyn that could pop off and put up a decent game. They're all just dart throws in tournaments. I'm not confident in really any of their minutes, but yeah, they're viable. Grayson Allen Love, if he starts again, if he's still starting, Brandon Clark's back, so maybe Brandon Clark starts and Grayson Allen goes back to the bench. But if Grayson Allen's still starting, he's viable. I don't want to say he's like a top value player or anything, but still someone you can roster. He got hurt, I think. You talking about Simi? Simi played 31 minutes, so I don't think he really got hurt. What about Anthony Edwards' brother? Or what about Anthony Edwards' brother? I don't think I'm going to Anthony Edwards on this slate. Obviously, he benefits without D'Angelo Russell, but it's a pretty bad matchup against the Lakers. Pace down spot. There's just so many other guys I'd rather target over Anthony Edwards today. Like, give me Dennis Schroeder for around the same price tag. Think Horton Tucker can get good run with the blowout potential? Yeah, if the game blows out, that's going to benefit THT, but I don't really want to go into a slate hoping that a game blows out. I think THT probably still gets around 20, 22 minutes, even if it's a close game. And he has path for more minutes if he's playing well. Thoughts on Schroeder and cash? I think he's definitely cash viable, especially on Yahoo. Schroeder's really cheap over on Yahoo. You like Harris or Kendrick Williams? Probably Williams because he can do more with peripherals, whereas Harris is so scoring dependent. New Orleans versus Memphis has a 1.5 point spread. Good game to target for a game stack. I don't really game stack in basketball. If you want a game stack, go ahead, but I don't do that. Especially, like, there's no standout plays from New Orleans. It's not like there's any good value in that game. Like, if you're game stacking that game, you're probably just playing like Giannis, or not Giannis, but you're probably playing like Zion, Brandon Ingram, John Morant, Joe Val, and then if you're doing that, you ain't going to have a ton of salary to work with. It's different when there's games that have, like, a lot of good value in them and studs in the game. You can stack, but, like, yeah, I don't think you want to stack that game. Even if it winds up being high scoring, are you really going to see like 4 or 5 guys from that game in the winning lineup? Probably not. You see this being a stars and scrubs kind of night? I think so, yeah. I'm gonna try and get Harden and Jokic in together if I can. So, I'm willing to play those Tristan Thompsons, R.J. Hamptons, Campazzos. I'm willing to play those guys tonight so I can get in my studs because I think both those studs, Harden and Jokic, have massive ceilings. You think LeBron sits tonight? He's not going to sit. How the hell is Kuzma 7K? Yeah. Without AD, he should be, around 6 to 7K. It's just if Kuzma was like 5K today, he'd be like really popular. So DraftKings made a good job. Now that he's 7K, I don't think anyone's going to play him. Maybe they could have made him like 6K. So then it's like, he's a decent play, but he's not like a top play. If he was 5K, he'd be like massive chalk, and now that he's 7K, nobody's playing him. It's kind of weird. Since Kyrie is out, do we take Joe Harris or Bruce Brown or James Harden all the shots tonight? I think Harden's just going to dominate the usage, but Bruce Brown, he's minimum salary on Yahoo, so I like him quite a bit there. Joe Harris, I think, is viable. He's still a scoring-dependent player, but he should have the opportunity to get more shots up with no KD, with no Kyrie. Roby or Derrick Jones Jr., I'm not the biggest fans of either on this slate. Probably take Derrick Jones Jr. if I had to play one, just because he's going to get more minutes. Hello, everyone. My man Noah, thanks for everything. I appreciate you being here, Rob. Thanks for being here, man. Thoughts on Valanciunas and Anderson? I think both are viable. Probably, if I had to pick one, I'd take Joe Val. Carmelo or Porter? Give me Michael Porter. Valanciunas or Horford? Give me Joe Val. You like the Denver guards over Shamet? Yeah, I think I do. Especially if Monte Morris is out, I would definitely prefer the Denver guards over Shamet. Thoughts on Kyrie Lewis and Simons? Oh my God. Why are you playing them on this slate? Like, why are you playing Kyrie Lewis and Anthony Simons? Worst price, Kuzma at 7K or Herter at 9K? Herter at 9K, that might be the outside of guys that don't play, Herter probably was the least projected, like points per dollar wise, but was probably like the lowest projection ever. I would have liked to have seen his projection like points per dollar on that slate. He probably projected for like 3x on that slate. Crazy. You like Kendrick Williams or Jeff Green? I think both are viable. If I had to pick one, I'd probably play Williams. You ever played Super Draft? I do have an account on Super Draft. I don't play there too often, but I have an account and I'll play it from time to time. Yahoo between Lillard and Ayton or Joker. and Schroeder. Give me the second one. Give me Jokic and Schroeder. Kuzma or Carmelo. I mean, I'd take Kuzma straight up. Tatum or Brown. I mean, if you have the salary, I think you play Tatum. Harden, TLC, or LeBron and Jordan. I'd probably take just Harden and TLC and just hope TLC gets you like 20 points. Kevin Huerter went to my rival high school. Never like him. I mean, the only guy that went to the NBA from like South Carolina is like Zion. I mean, he's like the only guy I can remember. I don't know if there's any like big athletes or big like NBA players that came from South Carolina besides Zion that I remember at least. Portis and Boucher and GPPs. I mean, I don't think I'm playing either one of them on this slate. You in college or graduated? Actually, Ross, I never went to college. I'm 21. I graduated high school, and then when I was in high school, I was doing DFS. I was making money, playing DFS, putting up videos on DFS. Told my parents I really wanted to try and do this for a living, and that's what I did. After I graduated high school, I lived with my parents for about a year, and I was just, doing this every day, and I was able to, save up enough money, eventually was able to move out, and I've been living, on my own for like 2 years now. Been able to do DFS and putting up DFS content for a living. So, yeah, I graduated high school, but never went to college. Or at least haven't yet. You like Zeke Nahi at almost min price, or you just staying away from him? I think he's viable. I think he probably gets about 20 to 22 minutes. Last game, he was the backup 5 behind Jokic. They didn't even play Isaiah Hartenstein, really. So if that's the case today, I mean, yeah, Nahi's definitely in play. And, JaMychal Green got in foul trouble last game. I'm not expecting that to happen again, but if he does, obviously that's a chance for Nahi to get more minutes. Chris Middleton's from Charleston. I didn't know that. Did not know that. Kevin Garnett played in Malden. Really? Wow. See, I didn't know like any of those guys. I knew Zion was in from South Carolina, but I didn't know Middleton was from South Carolina either. Harden or Lillard and Kuzma or MPJ. I mean, I'd go Harden and Kuzma between those two. Might be the coolest thing I've heard. I mean, there's always I still always have question marks like, will I be able to do this for the rest of my life? I mean, that's always a question I have every day, but I'm able to make a living right now. I'm able to live comfortably. Me and my girlfriend, we stayed, she still lives with her parents. She's 19, I'm 21, so she still stays at home. But, I definitely thought about, when we, eventually get married, if we do, will I be able to do this for a living? Will I be able to support a family playing DFS? That's always something that goes through my head. And maybe not, but I think right now I'm able to do what I love for a living, so I'm just going to keep doing it. Robert Williams viable? Yeah, I think he's definitely viable. He's probably going to get 18 to 20 minutes backing up Tristan Thompson. He's a point per minute monster, so it could be a scenario. It's like a JaVale McGee. It was the JaVale McGee play last night. I feel like Robert Williams is the same type of play today. Is 4 Nuggets too much? Nahi, Jokic, Murray, Green. I think you could play 4 of those guys. I don't think I'd play like 5 Nuggets, but 4 I think is fine. Is DFS your job? DFS and putting up DFS content. So putting up the videos on YouTube, the Patreon, and DFS. That's what I do for a living. Yes. Do what you love. That's what matters at the end. Yeah, I feel that, man. I'm blessed that I'm able to make good money doing this. Because I'll be honest, when I graduated high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was playing DFS at the time, and I really enjoyed it, but I didn't know if I'd be able to actually do it for a living, be able to pay bills, playing DFS. But luckily, I've been able to do it, man. It's awesome. I want to do it as long as I can, for sure. Guys asking about Kyra Lewis, please send me heads up so I can get some easy money. I don't really see why you want to play Kyra Lewis on this slate, but now that I've been trashing him the whole video or the whole stream, he's probably going to put up like 40 tonight and make me look stupid. Came in late. Are Jones Jr. and Forbes viable to have Jokic, Harden, and Murray in? I mean, I think Derrick Jones is viable just because he's going to get a ton of minutes. He's not a great point per minute player, but he's going to play over 30 minutes. Forbes, I mean, he's another player, like he's scoring dependent. He should get more minutes. He's going to start without Drew Holiday, but I mean, I'm not a big fan of either value plays, but if they let you get the studs in that you want, then it's fine. You just got to hope they get you like 20 points and don't like completely sink your lineups. You ever think about being a sports analyst / broadcaster? I'm impressed by all the guys that break down DFS. Takes real skill. I've never really thought about that. I don't think I'd really want to do like broadcasting. I think, I'm big into gambling, man. I love betting on games. I love the thrill of gambling and DFS, so that's what I'd really want to do. I mean, I like to talk sports. I like to talk DFS, but in the end, I love having action in. I love watching games, having action in the game. That's what I've enjoyed so much. Great fantasy content, as always. Know over 200 people in here. Let's get 200 likes. Yeah, hit that like button, guys. I appreciate all you being here, as always, man. We'll be live for about 5 more minutes. Answer any last-minute questions you guys got. Thoughts on Ja? Minutes seem back to normal, but it seems like he hasn't been the same player since the ankle injury. Yeah, he's been, on a point-per-minute basis, Ja has not been good lately, but I still think at some point he's going to have a Ja-type game where he puts up, he goes for 30 and 10 and puts up 50 Draftkings points. He's going to have one of those games at some point. He's definitely, at this point, you're just buying low on him. He's still not that cheap. He's still 7,500, but nobody's playing him, I'd assume. He's going to be low owned, so definitely, you can look to Ja in tournaments. Theo Maudon's in. Oh, that's going to change some things. I guess with Theo Maudon in, what's his price? He's 5K. He's actually viable now. Yeah, but that's going to make me a lot less interested in guys like Justin Jackson, Kendrick Williams. Yeah, this OKC team, I mean, none of these OKC guys were really top values, and now with Maudon in there, I mean, that's just one more body. Yeah, I don't really like many OKC guys now. What's Theo Maudon on Yahoo? What's his price there? He's $14 at shooting guard. You could definitely play Theo Maudon on Yahoo. Yeah, but man, that OKC, it's tough to like any OKC guys now because they're just getting more bodies. How many they have? I think they have 10 players available now. They'll pretty much have like a full set of guys. I mean, obviously SGA's still out, but yeah, I don't think I really am that high on OKC anymore. Appreciate it a lot. No, you got 21.9 thousand other guys supporting you. Keep up the good work, man. Yeah, we're getting close to 22,000 subscribers. If you're new here, if you've never checked out the stream or whatever, hit that subscribe button. If you've never checked out the channel before either, hit that subscribe button. Broccoli cheddar or cream of chicken? Oh, definitely broccoli cheddar soup. I mean, broccoli cheddar, chili, and potato soup, those are like my 3 favorites. Those are my go-tos. You mentioned being a one lineup guy always, or do you ever run 3 to 5 or mass multi-enter? Well, back when Roto Grinders lineup builder used to be free, I actually used to run 150 lineups. I'd play it in a lot of the low dollar stuff, so like the mini max. They used to have like a $2 150 contest you could enter. I used to play in that, especially for baseball. I think playing 150 lineups in baseball is really smart. It's tough to play one lineup in baseball with how much variance there is. But lately, I've just been playing one lineup, and it's been working. So I think I'm just going to keep doing it. And I said it before, it's not that I enjoy playing one lineup. It's just so less stressful only having to manage one lineup, especially when late news comes out and you have 10, 20 lineups you got to go through and edit. It just gets so stressful, man. Especially for a guy like me when I have Patreon. I have Patreon members. I have to answer their questions. So not only whenever news breaks, I have to fix my lineups. I also have to answer all these guys' questions because they want to know who do I play now. It gets really stressful. So it's a lot easier when I just have one lineup that I have to fix. Smack that like button, y'all, so Noah can feel crap tomorrow from Kyra Lewis hitting 30 plus. JK, yeah, hit the like button, guys. If Kyra Lewis goes off tonight, you can come back and say I told you so. But I can already tell you 100% I will not be playing Kyra Lewis on this slate. Got to head out, Noah. Thanks for all the content, bro. Hit that like, hit the subscribe button. Good luck tonight. Good luck, Ryan. Appreciate you being here, man. Are you getting Joe Harris? I mean, I haven't built my lineup yet. I don't know if I'm going to play Joe Harris on this slate. I think the first guys I'll be looking to from Brooklyn are obviously Harden, and I think Bruce Brown on Yahoo is going to be the second guy I look to. On DraftKings, I don't know if I'm going to have any Brooklyn guys in my DK lineup outside of Harden. Just because they've all been kind of priced up on DK. Like Brown's 4,600. Green and Harris are still, appropriately priced. None of them are like really, really cheap. I said it earlier. If Bruce Brown was like 3,500, he'd be one of the best values. But 4,600, not as much. Grayson Allen or Justin Jackson, we'll have to see. If Justin Jackson is still starting, I probably would play him. But there's a chance he goes back to the bench now that Theo Maudon's available. So it might be Allen there. I'm not as big on Justin Jackson now. I liked him before, but now that Theo Maudon's in, that just makes me a lot less interested in Justin Jackson. I'm sure I'm not going to play him, and then he's still going to put up like 35, but I don't think I can go there now. No doubt, when the late news being incredibly stressful when you've got many lineups to edit. Yeah, that is very true, my man. Very true. Especially, there'll be nights when I'm not at home, like I go out to eat or something, then late news breaks, and I have to manage all these lineups on my phone. It's just so annoying. That's the one thing I hate, man. At the end, NBA DFS, if you pay attention to news, if you're making late swaps when news comes out, you're going to be profitable in the end, but it is so fucking annoying. Like, I wish it, whenever lock hit, that I could just be done for the night, and I didn't have to check my lineups and stuff, but I know, I'm taking the time out to make these swaps, and in the end, it's going to make me a more profitable player, but it's just so annoying. Jamal Murray or Jaylen Brown? Honestly, for the savings, I'd rather go with Jamal Murray on this slate. How do you feel about Andre Drummond trade talks? How do you think it will impact DFS? We'll have to see where he goes. It depends on what team he plays for. Everything still says Mountain is out. Sandra, if you check Twitter, Fantasy Labs just tweeted it out. You probably just got to refresh, but they tweeted out. Update, Theo Mountain health protocols now available to play. I assume he'll be starting too. All right, guys, it's about 5 o'clock, so I'm going to wrap up the stream here. I appreciate all you guys being here. I appreciate all the questions. Thank you, as always, for tuning into the stream. Best of luck tonight, guys. Hope you win some money. If I don't take down a tournament, I hope it's one of you guys, all right? Good luck tonight, guys. Good luck. Appreciate you being here, as always. Let's win some money again, baby. Let's go. Good